What's going on, Combat Sports Nation? I'm actually here at Warrior Nation. Ran into a very popular guy out here in Massachusetts. He made a trip to the Western Mass. Mike Polvere. Mike, how are you?
Doing good, man. Just coming out, trying to show some love for our local MMA and supporting a great guy, Jesse, in Warrior Nation.
Now, you say you're out here to show some support, but you're out here for a little bit more than just support. You had announced some things to the fighters and also to the fans here. I don't want to take your thunder, but tell us a little bit about what's happening between Warrior Nation and Cage Titans for the fans who weren't here.
Me and Jesse, we kind of got into this. I want to say he started 4 or 5 years ago. I started about 6 years ago, and we've always kind of been friendly behind the scenes. Jesse's a great guy. He, like myself, really got in this because he loved the sport and he wanted to give back to fighters and be a part of the sport. That's what we're all about at Cage Titans, and that's what Warrior Nation's about, is, being a family atmosphere. You're really, giving back to the fighters. And, we've been helping each other behind the scenes. Brandy Light, who does all our medicals, a childhood friend of mine, works also with Jesse, doing medicals. So we already had the connection there behind the scenes. And, Jesse now is, really busy with his detective work. He's getting married next year. So a lot of things have been taking a lot of his time. So, it's getting a little tough for him. And basically, this was going to be his last show. And when we talked, I said, hey, you have a great thing going on out there in Western Mass with Warrior Nation. You built a nice brand. He actually approached me. Would I be interested in coming out and kind of doing the matchmaking and kind of taking Cage Titans out west? And we really haven't hammered home the details, but that's what we're looking at for possibly later on this year.
Now, I understand, and you just did, of course, explain why you guys are merging, but explain a little bit of the details. Is it going to be, is there any more Warrior Nation? Is it going to be Cage Titans? Or how is the name going to change, or is the name going to change? And when can we potentially expect your or Cage Titans' first show out in Western Mass? Or is that something that's been discussed yet?
Yeah, you know what? It's honestly, it's really new. So I wish I had more news to report. This is a conversation that has kind of evolved from, a couple of years back when he started doing amateur title fights. Hey, wouldn't it be cool to have, Western Mass's amateur champions from Warrior Nation square off against Cage Titans champs? We talked about that a couple of years ago. We never really pulled the trigger. And then it just really came up in the last month. He came out to my show back in January, and, we kind of kicked the tires and talked about it, and he really enjoys what we're doing out there, and he, it really comes down to working with good people, and Jesse's a good guy, and, he believes in a lot of stuff we do, and it seems like a natural fit. So to answer the question, I don't know 100%. I wish I had better news. Jesse felt strongly about Cage Titans kind of, absorbing Warrior Nation and not using the name. I know he's built a nice brand over the last couple of years, so I'm not really sure what's best. And we really haven't hammered that detail home. But, you asked me earlier about title fights. We just crowned Jose Lugo as the Warrior Nation 125 champion. Cage Titans as a 125 champion. Whether we try to unify those titles, I really don't know. There's so much great things happening. We have our 5 dates for 2016 booked for Plymouth Memorial Hall, and we're going to see if we can maybe sprinkle 1 or 2 dates out here at the Hukilau. It's a great, nice, intimate atmosphere, and that's what Plymouth Memorial Hall is. It's a nice, unique atmosphere, and we have a nice, unique atmosphere here at the Hukilau, which I really enjoyed the vibe. This was actually my first time coming out, so I enjoyed it, and I wish I had more hard evidence, of when the shows were, exactly what the name's going to be, but we'll keep you in touch.
This has sort of been, whether you guys had a vision at the time or not, but you guys had already had champions fight each other. Will Smith was a champion at the time when he fought Chris Mutino, if I recall correctly. Was there any talks back then, or was that just coincidental? You guys, they needed fights and it was just a good matchup.
Jesse has a great thing out here in Warrior Nation. He usually does about 2 or 3 shows a year. So with our activity of doing 5 to 6 shows a year, it just so happened that kind of timing, we didn't really bill it as, hey, Warrior Nation fighter coming to Cage Titans. But it was more just to keep the fighters active, because at the end of the day, Our promotion, Jesse's promotion, we're not here trying to tie fighters down and saying, you better fight for us and no one else, and holding the guys up. We're young fighters that are fighting for us. They want to be able to stay active, stay as busy as possible. So whether it's fighting for Cage Titans or Warrior Nation or Premier or NEF or any of the promotions out there, we're just about trying to give these guys opportunities to further their dreams, whether it be fight for an amateur title, make it to the UFC one day, or just fight locally once to check it off their bucket list. So that's what we're all about now.
And you talk about events. Tell us your next date coming up.
April 9th, we have Cage Titans at Plymouth Memorial Hall. We have a great fight card coming up. We have all of our dates, April 9th, June 18th, August 27th, and November 5th. And I see Jesse just came in, so I'm going to put him on the spot. And, I want to bring him over because, it really isn't about me or Cage Titans. He's really established something nice out here. So I'd like him to actually talk and kind of see where his head is and let him talk to you guys because it's really about him.
All right. Jesse, man, so we've just been talking for the last 6 or 7 minutes here, and of course Mike had nothing but great things to say about the relationship that's going to be evolving. What's your vision now that you're joining hands with the established Cage Titans?
My goal in this whole thing is basically to expand a little bit outside of Eastern Massachusetts with somebody that I think has a grasp on Massachusetts in general. I want to keep business in the state. He's got a Massachusetts-based fight promotion. Let's start with business inside the state and let him expand out because I can't give as much as I could with less. And basically what I mean by that is I don't need to run my own fights, my own promotion, and keep the ego there when he's got such a great establishment already set with a following, fans, and people crossing regionally to cross state lines and come across my space to go over to his space. And I mean that in the best way. Not mine in a selfish way, but mine in an area that's known to Western Mass and his area to Eastern Mass. Why not let him expand out this way and offer his fighters a greater approach at getting those title shots?
Well, this is very exciting. There's a lot of things to come. Again, he has I should say now you guys have an event. Is that fair to say you guys have an event coming up?
We don't know the path. We simply know the goal. We're going to get there, and we'll announce that as everything comes to fruition. As that comes to fruition, we'll figure it all out. You guys will get to know that firsthand. As soon as we know, you'll know.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for your time, Jesse. A great event. And we'll see each other and hear each other from each other soon. I'll see you later on in April.